afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Here we are again, the Tulip Bunch collaboration. How's your day going? How's your week going? We're having a lot of fun here. School's back in session. It's our last professional foundation course of the year. I don't know how that happened. You know, it seems like the year just began. We were so excited with the Pantone color of the year and the New Year's resolutions and all the promise of the year to come, and now, almost to the last 2 months, and we're in the middle of the last class. Oh my gosh, it's kind of overwhelming when you think about it and how quickly time passes. I know so many of you have joined us for flower school already, and you know how fast that time flies. Some of you just graduated. I'm kind of excited. I wrote your names down so I would remember, because I signed certificates today. They're in the mail. They're going out the door to you. Valley, Kayla, Kelly, Hung Young, Lynn, Charlene, they're all on the way. You did something you love in 2023. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. You know, sometimes it's hard to make a commitment and stick with it, but oh, so much promise and opportunity if you do. So congratulations. Thanks for joining us. Proud of you. You started your journey entering the world of floral design and doing something you love. So now to you, what's going on? Have you introduced yourself yet? This is a collaboration. Don't forget, type in your name. Well, that's probably already there, but where you're from, and say, hey. If you're a part of the Tulip Bunch, go ahead and put your icon in there so we all can say, hey, back to you. I've got my coffee, fully caffeinated. Housekeeping. Remember, if you're on your phone, you can turn it sideways and the picture will be a little bigger. If the comments are in the way, swipe it, puts it in silent mode so you can still see and hear me, but you don't have the comments. Then when you want them back, just swipe it the other direction. If you're on your computer, go full screen. See it larger than life. Maybe you're on your TV, but get comfortable. Sit back, put your feet up. Have your favorite beverage, or maybe you're working. You know, reality is we can't all just sit down and put our feet up all the time. And so you may be working away, you may be waiting for kids at football, you may be making dinner, who knows? Whatever you're doing, take a short moment for you. Invest in yourself, invest in your future, and let's do some flowering fun. We've got a full house. On the other side of the wall, Teacher Carolyn has class in session. I told you it's the last class, so they're teaching away over there, so you may hear laughter. I told them they shouldn't have too much fun. They had to be quiet, but you know how it goes in the classroom. Then Teacher Michelle is in here with us. She'll be watching both Facebook and YouTube and looking for your comments so she can verbalize them to me and I can answer for you. Teacher Ricky is here making sure we stay live. She's also watching YouTube and Facebook and will be speaking up and sharing with me. And then she'll help me share the technology. So I brought my computer up with me today so that we can show you behind the scenes how the education technology works. I know I was just typing to someone who wants to come to flower school, and she's like, what is education technology? I said, well, join me today and I'll show you, because it is pretty exciting. Then virtually, we have Susie with us, and she's on YouTube, but she's also bouncing over to Facebook. We have David with us, and he's going both sides, Facebook and YouTube. Not with us today, and that's why everybody's bouncing back and forth. Caledonia is traveling today, so she won't be able to join us. She'll be back next week on Facebook, so let's just give a shout out to Caledonia because we miss her. She's always with us, but today she's on the road, so she won't be able to join us. And then we have you. So while I gather some flowers, Ricky, Michelle, what's going on out there?
Well, we've got some folks chiming in on Facebook. YouTube is still getting warmed up, but so far, Tulips joining us are Drake, Renee, Robin, Josh, David's with us, of course, Sherry, Jim, Rose, and I just saw somebody else pop in. Lisa is with us also.
Brand, oh, that's so wonderful. You know, I love it when you all show up a little bit on time and early, because then I'm not just talking to myself. It is kind of strange thinking, okay, is there anybody out there? So thank you for introducing yourself so that I know there's somebody out there. Drake, I've been watching your escapades of your favorite week of the year, and I am absolutely loving it. I think Drake is our Halloween icon. He is the top, the absolute most on the Halloween, both for himself and for his business, doing so many different arrangements. He's busy, busy, busy. So thanks for joining us. Glad you're here. I thought for my first one, I would do traditional. So I actually gathered some gourds. These are some of my favorites because they have the stem on them, and they've actually been at my house. So I'm sharing with you. Oh, this one's got the price tag on it. Oh well. Tacky, but it was on the bottom, so I never saw it. I wonder if this one does. No, this one I took off. So I like these two because they have little tendrils still on them. Oftentimes, though, you don't get them with tendrils, and thank goodness for bind wire. You can add a tendril, so I'm going to go ahead and add some because I just like that look. And so what I do is just take a bit of bind wire and then a pen or pencil and wrap it around. And then take that, just stretch it out a bit and attach it right in. I gotta kind of weave it around the tendril that's already there. There we go. And give it a twist. And then just let it go. And it looks pretty natural, kind of fun, and it looks better than just plain. So I always do that with my pumpkins to make them a little more special. The container I'm going to use is a favorite. It's elevated. And anytime you elevate something, it makes it more important and so more valuable. People will pay more for it because it's more valuable. Reality is it just has a few feet on it. Now this particular one kind of rocks back and forth and makes noise on camera. So I have put towels underneath it for the time being, and then I'll take those towels off when I'm done. But that will keep it from rocking back and forth and making horrible noise. Watch, you don't want to listen to the horrible noise while you're watching everything. So just kind of sticking that in there, and then one more here. Then I thought I would anchor these in place. And to anchor them, I'm just going to use an anchor pin. Oh, imagine that. So if you've had basic floral design, you know what an anchor pin is. It's a wonderful tool. We use them a lot in week 3 when we get into contemporary design because it's a great alternative for securing things into your design. That'll be perfect here. I've added one already to my pumpkin, so the anchor pin there. Then I need to add a couple more. If you've had flower school, you know U-glue is your friend, but cutting it, unless you're using a titanium scissor, it gets really sticky. But you don't have to have that happen. Just get your scissors wet. So I reach over, dip them in water, and then when I cut, no stick, no muss, no fuss, magic. So if you haven't been to flower school, you might not know that. Don't you wish you would come to flower school and that you knew all these little tricks? Yeah, you should have known that. So when we have a pretty good sized group, so Teacher Michelle, let me know, because I have a question that I need to ask because everyone gets to vote today. Because I have more flowers up here with me than I can use. And so we are going to be exploring the color palettes of autumn. I'm starting with traditional right now, orange, because that's like, hello, we're the week before Halloween, orange is the color. But the reality is autumn doesn't have to be orange and Halloween doesn't have to be orange. There can be so much variation. So we have choices and I'll let you choose what you want. But we'll wait a little bit, let a few more people on. If you can help me build that crowd so that I can ask the question, so that you can vote, tag a friend, share this out, tell people, get on here, because we only have, well, now we only have 50 minutes. I mean, the time is flying, and we're not going to have time to get it all done if we don't get the crowd on here. So help me out, folks. Let's get her going. Got some bittersweet, which I love bittersweet. It's kind of messy. As it ages, it dries, it crumples, and it falls. But if you put it in and don't touch it, it just dries and looks beautiful. This piece was so cool in the way that it winds around on itself and it just is all contorted, kind of like grapevine that winds together or kiwi vine. And then it's got the colorful here. The tip's not quite so colorful, but I love that windy feel to it. So it almost seems wind swept. It's pretty easy to cut. That's a broken piece. I'm going to cut that off. But you can just cut it with a clipper. It's not super hard, heavy duty, so I can just use a clipper to cut it. And then when I go to put it in, I should tell you, I did fill this with midnight foam. So that's enhanced biodegradable, so it's a more eco choice within the foam family. And I've got that set in. And then I'm just going to take maybe right about this way and anchor it down by just inserting it into the foam tightly, okay? Then, taking the opposite end, I'm just gonna wind it back around, okay? So I've got a wood pick, and I'm just going to fasten that on there. Twisting it around.
Well, we've got a pretty good attendance. People are finally finding us and realizing. A couple commented, "Oh my gosh, I almost forgot it was Wednesday." So whenever you're ready to ask your question, I think you're good.
Time is good, okay. So I'll get this picked in here. So I'm taking my wood pick and I'm just forcing it down in to give it sort of a windswept feel. Turn it around now so that you can see how it just tucks down in there. Then to make sure that it doesn't pop loose, use the Oasis Floral Adhesive, and I place that on the insertion point. Now you may already know this technique. We had it in a Tulip Tuesday. If you've missed it, go back and watch the playlist. It's on YouTube. It's the Tulip Tuesday playlist. It's all just short, sweet, quick. If you need this, this is what you do. If you need this, this is what you do. And to make sure that picks don't let loose and flip out, a little bit of the Oasis Floral Adhesive solves that problem. Okay, so question of the day. I have traditional orange that I'm going to do. So that was already planned. We already have the pumpkins prepped. I've got their tendrils on. I'm still working on the bittersweet. Then I have 3 more choices. And I can only do 2. So pick one, and then we'll pick which are the top 2 of those. But everybody gets to pick one. So my next 3 choices are to go with a more neutral and brown palette. It will be focused on the symbol garden roses, and it has a lot of that sort of mustardy hue and rust and brown and beige. So going to an earthy palette, so that's 1. I have, these are all coming with this one, so that doesn't count. I have this whole moody purple and blue. So I've got some carnations, liatris, orangium, chrysanthemums, spray roses. So going into that violet palette, an analogous color harmony. And then lastly would be a fresher look. Greens and light yellow, so that it's still autumn because it's going to include sunflowers and such and kale, but it's greens and light yellow. So your choice would be earthy, violet, or green. Pick one, and as we get on down the road, we'll come back and we'll make sure and do those. Then I'm going to take and pull this a little more forward just by taking my wood pick, attaching, and bringing it on down, getting that color coming, and maybe another. I just want to get more of it forward. I don't need it all forward. It can have some in the back, but I want a little bit more forward. Now, when you're doing Flower School online, students always ask me, do I have to match what you did? When you did it, you used pink flowers, and I don't like pink. No, don't match. Substitute. Use what you like. So if you are working on your assignment to submit online, and you watched the videos, you read the text, you learned what you needed to know, you studied what Leanne shared in the video, and you looked at the recipes and you thought, oh, now it's my turn, I get to make, how exciting. But you don't like the flowers that we used, or the season is different and you can't get the flowers that we used. You know, there's so many times of the year that it varies. You just don't know what you're going to be able to get. And so taking the time to analyze and see, okay, what's available in my world right now, then substitute. So just like what I'm doing here, where I say, well, which of these would you like? When you go to do your student submission, you can pick which one you like. You can say, well, I am going to use lavender because I like lavender, or today I'm going to work with yellow because I like yellow, and that's totally fine. In fact, we encourage that. We want you to pick the things that you like to work with and then adjust it, because it makes it more fun for us to see what you have in your area, what your choices are. So now I've got my bittersweet in, now I can come back and add my pumpkins, putting a larger one on this end. There we go. I'm just adjusting my bittersweet. And then I'll do a larger one over here. And it's kind of dividing out, moving my bittersweet, adjusting around my picks. There we go. Finding the perfect home for him. And then my last one, I'm going to group over here as well. Maybe move it a little bit forward. There we go. So that I've got two on one side, one on the other, so it'll be an asymmetrical design when I'm done. Could be a centerpiece. It could be going across a console or an entry table. It could be at the front of an office, or it could be down low on a coffee table. So many choices, but it's a fun one. Then I'm going to go back and just look at my other materials here to see what I might want to use. I've got some rose hips. I've got spray roses. These I actually stole from the classroom. They used the spray roses yesterday and they didn't use them all. Oh my gosh, how could you not use them all? But I guess I bought too many. So I thought, well, then they come to me. Then I grabbed some Gerber daisies. These are for the class, but I bought extra, and so I took 3 of them for us because I just thought they were so beautiful. And that orange and yellow, isn't that fun? So I'm going to group them over on this end. I'm going to keep them low. I want them to be more of a basing. Down. So do we have any votes on colors? Do you want the earthy, the lavender violet, or the green? What's sounding good to you?
Well, it's across the board, but at least when I'm looking at the total count between Facebook and YouTube, it looks like earthy is winning.
Okay, so earthy will be next.
Although Jim said violet would be a good challenge for you, but you're not planning on putting it into the one that you're working on, correct?
That is correct.
Yes,
It'll be
okay.
a whole different one.
There was a question, is she going to put it in that one, or is it a different arrangement? So violet was second.
Arrangement, yeah. I realize right now the purples and the oranges are really on trend, and lavenders and violets with orange and peach and such. A lot of that is happening in the wedding world. It's not my total favorite. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure about that. But I do enjoy working with the violet family, so I thought, well, I'll just do that too. But you can see how terracing, a flower school word, tucks those right in there, works out. So what questions do you have about online flower school? That's what we're going to talk about. As soon as I get a couple more stems in here, I'll pull up the platform so you can see it. I've got some things to share, and I'll show you how you load a submission so that you can see how easy it is. Because sometimes you think, oh my gosh, I'm not technology savvy. How am I ever going to do this? And the reality is we've made it as simple as we possibly can so that if you're not super technology savvy, it's okay. You can figure it out. And if you have a little bit of a struggle, you can call us and we step out of our teacher hat and put on our tech hat, and we help you troubleshoot and figure it out and get your submission in so that you can do online flower school anywhere, anytime, anyhow, from the comfort of your own home. Because sometimes life is just too busy to come to Portland, Oregon, although I'm sorry because Portland, Oregon is a pretty great place to be. Maybe not today since it's pouring down rain, but we need that rain, and it's what makes it green, and it's what gives us our moss that we love so much. So I'm not complaining. It's been a beautiful summer, and it will continue to be a great time, but it's time for the rain to come, and that's just the way it is. So we have lots of extra umbrellas in the classroom because students will be here and all of a sudden it starts raining. It's like, oh my gosh. Although walking home carrying all your flowers and an umbrella can be tricky, but it can be done. We know. What's going on out there?
Well, we're still getting a few votes on things, but Earth is still first and Violet is still second. Nothing has changed the vote order.
Okay, so it sounds like we'll be doing Earth and Violet. If for some reason you were coveting green, get all your friends to jump on there and vote because you're not getting green. I can pretty much guarantee it. It sounds like we're going to be doing Violet and Earthy. And if you wanted green, it's like, so sorry, Charlie, you should have voted with more votes in there. But you know what? You don't always get what you want. But I promise you it'll be pretty. What else is going on?
Well, Janet had a great comment over on YouTube. She said the joy of knowing the basics of good design is you can adapt to whatever is available and in season.
So true. I mean, what we do, you don't really have to have any particular thing. You need to know how to use the floral medium. You need to understand mechanics. And once you have that foundation, you can do anything you want in your own style. That's what makes it so much fun. Oh my gosh, I don't know which ones I want to use here. I guess I'm going to go ahead with some of the rose hips over here just because they're beautiful. And what else is going on? Well, I start poking a little faster because I've got 2 more arrangements to make.
You're pulling a Michelle. So Josh had a question for you. He said the new shop he's working at, the owner is adamant on peeling the roses before sending them out. So I assume he's meaning garden petals. Every single rose. I remember something about this in class. Does it shorten the life?
It does not shorten the life, but, okay, when you remove the guard petals from a rose, it changes the characteristics of the opening. So this is the symbol garden rose, and these are actually 2 weeks old. That's amazing. These were shipped to us by Garden Roses Direct, Farm Direct, 2 weeks ago. We used them in the live, and then I just stuck them in the cooler. And 2 weeks later, I pulled them out to use again because they're still beautiful. But I left the guard petals. The guard petals have a different coloration. They have a different texture. They can look a little bit ratty sometimes. Now, if they're really damaged, I do remove them. But if they're not, if they're just a little different, I leave them because as this rose continues to open, the petals are going to move outward from the center. These are going to move outward, and the guard petal, since it's heavier and thicker, they push inward. So these are pushing in, while these are pushing out. And what that does, and I'm going to exaggerate it here, is it makes the rose naturally reflex as it goes through and opens. So you've seen that on trend where they reflex them manually, which this one isn't reflexing really well because it's still cold. But what it does is it forces it to open into a broader cup. And if you remove those guard petals, where it does not shorten the life, it doesn't hurt it, it does make it so that it won't have that beautiful cup open. So if you can leave the guard petals, it is my recommendation to do so. If they're really, really awful, then remove them because people don't want to see petals that are awful. But if it's just that you're not thrilled with them because they're a little bit texturally different, let it go. Let them be texturally different. They'll be a better bloom because of that. So now I added rose hips across this section. I didn't on this side because I've already got all the bittersweet. So it just transitions from the red berries to the orange and yellow. Gives it kind of a nice look. Then I can go back and I've got safflower, which would be nice to tuck in a couple spots just to make sure that all my mechanics are concealed. And safflower is going to dry and look beautiful. So while I poke some safflower, Ricky, what have you got going on over there?
Yeah, Anna over on YouTube is wondering, is Online Flower School instructional videos similar to our Wednesday live stream?
No. The instructional videos are totally different beast in that they're filmed with more detail, more complexity, and more intention of making sure you understand why we are doing everything. So if you go to the YouTube channel and you see our things there, or you go to our website and you see things there, then you go over to the live stream and you see what we're doing, everything's different. So the live stream is actually an opportunity for you all to get to know each other and for us to share more seasonally specific. So like right now with the autumn, with a taste of Halloween, but not really focused on Halloween. And then a chance for you to ask questions and to meet us. The YouTube videos are inspirational. They are to just get you going, ooh, I kind of think I want to try that. There's not enough there to really know what you're doing or why you're doing it, but it's enough to inspire you to get started. And then the Flower Lovers Club videos are a bit more educational, but without as much detail, but they've got a little bit of education and a little more focused on the professional as opposed to just inspiration. And then the educational videos go into extreme detail, and the benefit of all of those is those videos and that course, everything is fully teacher supported. So you can pick up the phone, pop off an email, text us, you can do any way of connection and talk to a real live teacher who gives you one-on-one support and will help you through that. So I'm going to set this aside. I'll be adding more to it because I've got some Craspedia, I've got some other things, but I want to move forward. But I'll finish this off with a few more blooms, and then tomorrow Ricky will take the professional photos and we'll post them on the Tulip Bunch page tomorrow afternoon. Then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll add them to YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram so that you'll be able to see them. And feel free to share them or copy them to your page so that maybe it's one that you want to do for your customers. It's a great centerpiece idea for this coming season. Any autumn soiree, if they've got an oblong table, how perfect is that? I mean, it's it's just gonna be grand. I think this one might end up at my house when it's done too. I kind of like it.
You have to take your pumpkins home anyhow.
That's right, they're my pumpkins. Okay, Teacher Michelle.
So Tamara has an excellent question. Could you talk a bit about about what online supplies are needed and what the approximate cost of those supplies are?
That's a great one. Okay, Tamara, good question. It's a lot of personal choice because you can substitute based on seasonality and cost and what you have available to you. Let me bring this up and we'll take a look and you can see how it is. So Ricky, can you bring that? Am I there?
Yes, your screen is up.
And I am unplugged and it says, your computer is going to go to sleep. Now I'm plugged back in. That would have been really good. Okay, so we're there. So in Basic Floral Design 1, this is where you would learn to make a centerpiece like I just demonstrated. This is where you would, in fact, your very first submission is making a choice between designing a round arrangement or an oval arrangement. It gives you an overview and then it starts with a video on just how to do the greening because doing the foliage is tricky. And then we give you a different variety of foliages. So here's a very traditional. Here is elevated with some seeded eucalyptus. Here's rounder in the autumn season. And then here we went to evergreens and holly for the winter season. So we give you variations so that you can then go and say, oh, but this is what I want, blah, blah, blah. Then you move on and it gives you a video for how to make the round arrangement. And then it's going to give you a video about how to do, then it goes to step by step. So the video showed you how to make this arrangement. Then we even write out step-by-step instruction so that you've got that for your notes, so that you don't have to go, oh my gosh, what did she do first? How was it? And we've got that all ready for you. Then it pops forward and we've got a video for the oval arrangement. And each of the videos contains the entire transcript. So if you're trying to do it with a different language, you could take that transcript, copy it, and put it in a translation thing, so then it would give you the words. And then it gives you the step-by-step for the oval. I didn't use pumpkins, I used orchids. And magnolia gives it a little different look. Then, as you go forward, it gives you the story about how to submit your lessons and what you need to do. And now here, this is where you said, well, what supplies do I need? How does it work? We give you a complete recipe that shows you everything that you need, and then it gives you an option of if you wanted to do something else. And it gives you a complete recipe for the oval, and it gives you an option in case you did something else, so that you can pick what you want to do. Then when you go to submit it, I'm going to pop back in at the beginning again. When you go to submit it, so you've watched the video, you did the reading, you looked at the recipe, you went shopping, you've got your supplies, you come back where there's a paper clip and it says student submission, arrangement photo. You just click it and it says upload. And you can do this from your telephone, you can do it from your computer. And so I go into my upload and I look for the picture and I'm going to do a round arrangement. So I'm going to pick that one right there because I know that's a round arrangement. And you wait, oh, nope, that's the wrong one, wrong, I did it wrong, so I'm going to remove that. That's a Halloween arrangement. That's not what I want. So I go back and I look, which one is it? Oh my gosh, oh, I know, I'll do this one. Oh yes, there's a round arrangement. It happens to be in a pumpkin. And so as soon as you see it show up on your dashboard, if you picked the wrong picture, you just click remove, it goes away, and no harm, no foul. If it is the right picture, you click save, and it's thinking, it's sending it, and it's sent it off to your teacher. So the teacher can then do the evaluation. So let's go back to me again. So I'm gonna go off camera there. Got it to me?
Yes.
Okay. So then flower-wise, supply-wise, some things you can use that you already have at home. Maybe you have a vase at home that you want to use. Maybe you have flowers in your garden. Maybe you have bushes outside that you can prune. You're going to need a knife. You could use a kitchen paring knife, or you could purchase a flower knife. You'll want some sort of clipper. You may have a clipper or a pruner at home, or you may want to purchase one. If you come to flower school in person, it's one price. If you come to flower school online, it's another price. The difference is our guesstimate of what it might cost you for all your flowers and all your supplies. Now, some people do it for much less because they shop around and they search out the best value. Others spend a little more because they decide, ooh, I want to do all garden roses, I want to do orchids, I want to do lilies, I want to do the expensive flowers. And you can do that. So guesstimating is going to cost you to do the entire course $1,000 maybe for supplies, maybe less, maybe more. It could be $2,000, could be $500. A lot's going to depend on what you choose to purchase, what you choose to forage, and the time of year. This time of year right now is one of the best time of year to go to flower school because the prices haven't jumped up for the winter yet. You know, come January, February, prices are more expensive. And so right now prices are still at a good point. So your purchasing things are not bad. Plus there are still some seasonal things that, you know, frost hasn't hit most areas yet. It's still early, although the threat of frost is starting. It's going to be here pretty quickly. But this time of year, the pricing is pretty good on purchasing materials. And then it's also an excellent time of year because I love this. A lot of students, when they are doing their projects, they make things and then they just turn around and sell it. I know, you know, they're in flower school and they're making it for a submission and then they turn around and sell it. But that's how they pay for their next set of flowers and then the next set of flowers. And I think, how cool is that? So it's kind of one of those things, you're making money while you are learning. That's a pretty good way to do it. Okay, Teacher Michelle.
So Angela is on Facebook today and she asks, is there a lot of theory to study in the course or is it mostly practical?
It's both. You know, I think it's very, very, very important that you know the theory of design. You need to know your elements and principles. You need to know color theory. You need to know care and handling. You need to know pricing, the business of flowers. That's got to be covered because if you don't know how to price and you don't know the business side, you're just going to be a starving artist. And I certainly don't want to be creating dozens and dozens of starving artists. So the theory is included in there, but we are teaching the art of floral design. So it's a very practical, hands-on. Absolutely everything we do is done 3 different ways. So depending on your learning style, if you're a visual learner, you can watch the video, you can see how it works. If you need to read, it's all written there, the transcript is there, the textbook has been digitized, so that's in there. So you've got all your opportunity there. If you are an auditory learner, videos all have sound. So then you can learn through that auditory way. If you're a kinesthetic learner, meaning you can't learn unless you actually physically do it, You're required to, see, I even put the label of the rose on there so I wouldn't forget the name, symbol. So I'm not gonna use that rose because it's got a label on it. But that's Leanne's trick to make sure she doesn't forget the name of something. But depending on which way you like to learn, auditory, visual, or kinesthetic, you can learn. Even though there's theory included, it's not like regular school where if you're not a traditional learner, then you're not going to keep up. You don't have to be a traditional learner. You just have to love flowers, definitely. So long answer to your question, yes, there's theory, and yes, there's practical, both. It's all in there. Now I picked for this container a very tactile, rustic basket. It has a plastic liner in it, and then it has floral netting, because one question I get frequently from students is, do you teach foam free? Yes, we do. We teach all the techniques so that you can make a personal choice as to what works for you. So we go through the mechanics of foam, we go through foam alternatives, we go through floral netting, we go through natural mechanics, natural armatures. It's all included, 100%. You got it, we have it. Okay? Now, oh, look at these. These are so lovely. It's Banksia. Banksia is a wonderful product. It has a very interesting foliage that almost has like a serrated leaf and this sort of mustardy hue. Isn't that beautiful with the symbol? I'm going to group those so that there's a little more value to them so that they show up better. What other questions do we have going on back there?
Just a little discussion back and forth. When Angela asked the question, Jim chimed in and said he felt it was a great split between theory and hands-on, about 50-50. Sherry said enrolling in the basic FDI course was among the best decisions I have ever made. That is said with a lifetime of wonderful experiences preceding.
Aw, thank you. That makes my heart sing. You know, we love to teach. Online education was scary when we started because I wasn't sure that we could teach such a hands-on art form without being in person. But you know what? We can. And we have been teaching, and this makes me laugh, I hope it makes you laugh. We've been teaching online floral education since 1996 with VHS tapes. Yeah, I know. That's old. So we did VHS tapes, online education, starting in 1996. Then we went to DVD, online education. And now, streaming, everything just is at your fingertips. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your tablet, you can do it on your computer, you can do it on your TV. I'm still in shock, to be perfectly honest, because I'm like, how did this ever happen? And by the experience of working with literally thousands of students over the years, we know what it takes to teach you from afar so that you don't get lost. You don't feel like you're abandoned. We know that the teacher has to be there for you. We know that we have to be able to answer your questions. And our teachers know how to give you the information when they're not standing right beside you to give you that information. They know how to write it so that you can understand and get all your things figured out and be ready to roll. What else is going on?
So another question is, how can I pay for the classes? Do you offer scholarships, or are there payment plans, or can I buy gift certificates? How can I come? Question mark.
Oh my gosh, you know, we were just updating the gift certificates because 'tis the season. Oh my goodness. Every year, it just makes my heart so happy when people contact me and say, I want to give the gift of education. My wife is always wanting to do this, and I'm going to do this for her for Christmas. Or my daughter has been dreaming about going to flower school, and we decided that was the best thing we could do for her Christmas gift. And I'm like, yes! The gift that keeps giving. Not only do you get to give them the gift of education, but you might get the gift of flowers back. So like, it's a score for all parties. So yes, there are gift certificates if you want to do gifting of education. If you want to just get it done and be finished and you're investing in yourself, you can go online and it's set up so you can pay using any credit card. You know, the world is digital now, so you can use a debit or a credit. You can divide it between cards. You know the whole drill. I'm always amazed that we grew up and got to be a real company with a website that allows you to do these things. And we just play with flowers. We're just a little tiny flower school. But you can then just go online, enroll, make your payment. If you don't want to put it onto a credit card, you don't like entering things online, call us. We can either take your information over the phone or just write a check and mail it to us. It really doesn't matter. Then as far as scholarships and such, we don't have anything in-house, but we do qualify for most all state-funded programs. So if there's something in your state that provides education dollars, double check with them, because chances are Floral Design Institute is an approved institution and you can use those dollars here. So if you're looking for that, it generally goes through the employment department, or some states call it the work source, which is the new employment department. It's just a different name. But you could check that and see if that works. And then if you need to divide it into payment plans so that it fits with your budget better, you can. You can begin with a simple investment of just $825. So you invest $825, you begin your studies, start selling those flowers, get a job, make money, and then do your next installment. So you do have choices. Okay, so the earthy one is starting to come together. I used pampas, nandina, sorghum, simple roses, banksia. I think I'll put a little wax flower in here because that'll give it some nice color. What else is happening?
Cora had a question on Facebook. She wondered how much is required to memorize flower names and species.
I want you to memorize the more common varieties because you're going to need that on the job to talk to your customers. Now, I also realize you're not going to memorize every single flower in the world, and you're not going to get the spelling right, and you're not going to know all the botanical names, not right at first. I encourage you to work on it, but you are not penalized if you don't know all the botanical names or if you do some misspellings. We can live with that, but I do want you to start learning your flowers. And what we encourage you to do during the course is start a flower diary where you keep track of the flowers that you have touched, the flowers that you have seen, and write it down as to what it was, where you saw it, how long it lasted, what it cost. And it's a chance for you to just start building that knowledge base. And I call it a flower diary because it just makes it sound more fun. But what you're doing is starting a spreadsheet that helps you so that next year when it becomes January, you go, were daffodils available last January? And you go, well, let me check my flower diary. And you can double check, were they there? And you go, oh, the daffodils came in about mid-January. Yeah, I can make sure I can have those for you at the end of January. And it's a great way to expand your knowledge, definitely.
Jim reminded Cora that in the Flower Lovers section, we have some flower ID as well.
Oh, and David and Ricky are working on that right now as we speak. So yes, as one of our free resource areas, the Flower Library has pictures of flowers and then information about their care, information about their characteristics, their availability, the colors, all of that. And they're working on updates on that right now, so that's kind of exciting. So yes, thanks, Jim. That's a resource that we have out there for everybody, because I know a lot of high schools use it in their floral programs, because they use our videos for training, and then they use the flower library for the informational content, and that's there for you as well, so that you can always have access to that information. Our goal is that we have education available to everyone, and thanks to our Flower Lovers Club members, we're able to do this free information like these weekly lives. That's because of our Flower Lovers Club members. They are so fabulous. They are a strong resource and the backbone of our Tulip Bunch, and they help fund all of this free education. And then from there, we have the ability to hire an extensive staff with immense training, knowledge, and credibility to make sure that when you're doing your courses, you have the best instructors possible. And we are really proud of them. We've got an incredible staff, and you've seen many of them on live here. Next week you'll get to see Ricky on live because we've had so many photography questions. She's coming back to do an entire hour on floral photography. So if you haven't felt like you know photography well, next week's your chance. So I'm going to set this one aside. You can see I've got more I'm going to put in it, but I'll do that off camera. Get a picture of it tomorrow, and then we'll post it for you all so you can see it finished. But there's my earthy one with the symbol roses, and the roses 2 weeks old. That's absolutely amazing to me. That's from proper care and handling, knowing how to buy good product and take care of the product. So, and that you get from Flower School.
Leanne, is symbol spelled S-Y-M-B-O-L or symbol C-Y-M, like a band instrument?
S-Y-M-B-O-L.
Okay, cool.
S-Y-M-B-O-L, yes. Okay. Purples were the winner then, I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
So we go that direction. Put these aside. When I was thinking about the purple, I was going through my shelves going, oh, what am I going to do? And I found these urns that we had painted blue, and I thought, oh, well, that would be just stunning. So I grabbed that, wedging in Midnight Foam, enhanced biodegradable, so it's a little better eco choice, turning it so that they're going to be straight on. There we go. I always forget that part, to pay attention to where my foot is and does it line up or am I going cattywampus. It doesn't matter which way you go, but if you're doing 2, you want them to match. And I'm doing 2. The starting point for this design was these new chrysanthemums. And these are all natural colored. And Ricky, I'm going to try to get these into the close-up camera. You know how bad I am on that, though.
Just right there.
Oh, yay. Okay, these are all natural. They're not dyed, they're not painted, and it's a brand new series of chrysanthemums in grays to blues to lavenders to a deep eggplant. And so I bought these last Monday for the class, and I snitched a couple of them and had bought extra so that I could use them and show with you. Then this is a spray rose that was from Garden Roses Direct. 2 weeks old. Yep, I know, absolutely amazing. And then some leftovers from class. So if you do online education, oftentimes you'll be using the same types of things that we use in class. So I thought this was a great mixture of things so that you could see what we might share with you in class. Online, we might do Liatris, which is a beautiful lavender flower, linear. It's one of the few flowers that opens at the top and then works its way down. So it's up here is opened first, and then the buds open out as it gets more mature, whereas most flowers open at the bottom and then work up. So it makes Leandra just kind of a fun, unique flower. You know what, Ricky, let's show the platform one more time before I finish this.
Okay,
And so bring it up. Am I there, sort of, kinda?
it is ready for you.
Okay, so I'm gonna exit because when I mentioned the payment plan, we have it set up so that no one's going to call you for collections. You don't have to make a set payment on a schedule because your budget may not fit our schedule, so it doesn't matter. So when you make your first investment, you get Basic Floral Design 1, the whole thing. You get all of it. And it will take you through your care and handling, your workspace, your tools, your supplies, sourcing your flowers. It's going to do care and handling in there. Then the round and the oval. Elements and principles. You asked about theory. There it is. Then one-sided, both symmetrical and asymmetrical. Pricing. Getting into the business of flowers so that you know what's going on. Then going into more unique designs, designing with themes, baskets, recipes for everything. Then designing without foam, foliage armature, grid, netting armature, recipes for all of it. Hand-tied designs, and then the art of the sale, taking a flower order, hospitals, packaging, all of that's included under your one investment. You get it all. Then when you make your second investment, you'll get Basic Floral Design 2, which is going to be your roses, your sympathy, your wedding. Then when you do your final installment, you get your Basic Floral Design 3, which is going to be all your contemporary design, designing to a price point, the job hunt, opportunities, all of that. Once you have that all done, you can move on to advanced design. Then we've got specialty classes. Wedding Boot Camp is an introduction class. Bouquets to Carry is an advanced wedding bouquet course. Flowers to Wear is advanced flowers to wear. It includes fascinators, crowns, all of the stuff. And then the challenge, Fundamentals, is a beginning course. And then my favorite, the Ceremony Flowers, that one is an advanced wedding course that goes into all the statement pieces that you see. For example, the garden wedding includes the moon gate with Phalaenopsis orchids. Is that not stunning? Oh, I just love that. We had so much fun preparing that class for you all. So you can see there are so many options. So let's go ahead and bring it back to me. I'm turning this so I can make sure I'm semi-straight here. There we go. Then I'm going to turn it back to you. This particular one, I'm going to go ahead and just use all my Leandras because I have them. Stick them on in here. And then if you don't like linear design, maybe you prefer a rounder design. So the spray roses could go in a more rounded format. Tucking them. And then adding in the chrysanthemums. This one's called Sapphire. And it's that really wonderful kind of lavender gray. Oh, splendid. Absolutely gorgeous. Get it in. And when you're in flower school, you learn all these mechanics. You learn round, you learn linear, you learn wedding, you learn sympathy, you learn it all. Now, I didn't go fast enough, and I'm not going to get this one done in my hour, but I want you to know I will finish it so that you can see the finished picture online. It'll be in the Tulip Bunch tomorrow, and then it will be on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can watch the replay of this if you came in late and you think, what was she doing? How did that all happen? You can come back and watch it from the beginning. It'll be on replay about 5 minutes after we finish today, so that you can come back and watch it at your convenience. Or if you wanted to see something over again because you wanted to know a little more about it, maybe you missed something, you can go there. If you enjoyed this, please share it out. Help us spread the word. Let people know about Flower School. Tag a friend. Put the thumbs up, like it, you know the whole thing. If you've got questions about Flower School, reach out. You can call us. You'll get a real live teacher on the phone. We'll talk to you. We'll chat. You can email us. You can go through the website, send us a message. We do reply. We really do pay attention, and we love to hear from you because we love to teach. We love to share flowers, and we all love to do something we love every single day. Thanks so much for joining me. Next week, don't forget, it's Ricky on camera doing floral photography. She walked over the plan with me this morning, and it's like, oh, that's going to be so great. Actually, I guess it was yesterday morning. She's got everything laid out. It's going to be wonderful. I'm excited to see what she's going to share with us all as she teaches the photography side of things. But for now, again, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Get out there and have a great time as you do something you love. Bye-bye.